Justice for T.SIZZLE, bring back T.SIZZLE's channel, YouTube, you hear me? You hear me? I know you do. Okay, another one of T.SIZZLE's video topics is school sucks. Yep, I highly agree. You see, we relate with one another and also with other people that go through the same things, that's gone through the same experience and endured those types of experience where school sucks because they got bullied and all that, which I did as well. And I put in parentheses, he didn't really take it seriously, but one time he put his all to it and he got good grades. Relatable, because I can actually relate. There were a few times where I actually put my focus on school, and besides the fact that my father got mad at me, I think I mentioned it in one of my videos, and I started to, the specific subject I'm talking about is mathematics. I started to get good grades. I started to score really high, highest in my class, maybe not the highest in my grade, in my school, but definitely highest in my class. So relatable. And also he was a bully in school, like me, only because I got bullied too many times and that became it. But T.SIZZLE, I guess he was like, just goofing around maybe, even, or I don't know, whatever the reasons are, but just being honest, but that is not inciting or instigating or trying to endorse, endow and encourage violence and bullying, alright? It's just us being kids and all that, alright? It's not like we can go back in time and change our past, right? What's past is past. People change. Some actually do change, alright? Even though you believe people never change, some actually do. Because I met a bunch of people that believe and behave in the same way as well. They never thought people could change, and then when they see me coming around and then they see that I've changed, it's like, yeah, no shit, people change, don't you know? But they find it really hard to digest and understand because they never thought people could actually change. They just want to be condescending and say, yeah, that is if you could change, that is if you would ever change, I want you to change, that is if that would ever happen, because most likely people don't change, right? But some actually do. Some take a long time, some take a shorter time. But people do change. I don't know why some people believe, me myself, but I mostly believe people can change. I also do believe that people cannot change, but it's mostly leaning on people can change. So yeah, I just cringe and I kind of smile whenever people look at me and they say, oh, you changed. Yeah. What do you think this is? What about you though? Have you changed? Have you changed for the better? And let me ask you this, YouTube, have you changed? Exactly. It looks like you've changed, but for the worse, because you'll be putting all these things, all these hindrances and obstacles and all that, even for the smallest thing, even for the most harmonious, peaceful things that does not affect anyone in any way, shape or form, or build, or geometry, or any dimension. Exactly, all these fanciful words. So yeah, my guy T.SIZZLE, he bullied, but that's in the past, and he's no longer a bully. Now he's changed. He's a healthy human being, even though he like goes through hoops and hurdles, thick and thin, rough and tough situations, a lot of us do, right? Because that's how life is. And for me, I became a bully only because I got bullied. I mentioned in one of my videos. You can go analyze and all that if you want to, but it's not encouraging, endorsing or endowing. Listen up, it's not to encourage, endorse or endow. It is not negative. I'm not encouraging any of these things to happen to anyone else. But it still happens in schools though. That's why I feel bad for those kids in schools, because I know bullying is still prevalent. And people say stop bullying, put all these campaigns and whatnot, but no, you still see people removing themselves from this existence. They are de-existing themselves. De-existing themselves from this existence, from this life, because they had enough and all that. How about you go talk with them, right? Instead of talking with us peaceful, harmonious, innocent content creators and YouTubers and whatnot on this platform. How about you go to school directly? That will be better, that will be preferred, that's preferable. That will be a sound and a pleasant choice. That will be a sound choice to do. That's a preferable choice. Preferably so. That is, if you go directly to school, maybe you can have some YouTube program and tell kids, don't bully, blah blah blah. It's almost pointless when you have YouTube for kids, right? And then you see these kids, they grow up later on and then they still bully, right? From kindergarten to middle school, elementary to middle school to junior high to senior high, college, university, all that. All these institutes, So what are you trying to relay? What are you trying to convey? What kind of message are you trying to relay, YouTube, when you do these things, YouTube for kids, and then you give us the option to say it's made for kids, it's not made for kids, and then they turn out to be dirtbags in the end. They turn out to be idiots, They turn out to be brats in the end. So maybe you would like to do some revision and revamp and renew and reform the way you do things, your modus operandi, right? Your MO. YouTube, listen up. Justice for T.SIZZLE. Bring back T.SIZZLE'S channel, I keep saying. Okay? School sucks. I made a video about it. I hate school. I absolutely hate school. Still do. Burning passion till the day I die. Because it was very traumatizing. And most of my depression was developed while I was in school. And it's the main contributing factor as to why my mental health is very fucked up. And again, I'm not encouraging anything, okay? I'm not encouraging, I'm just being honest. Listen up, I'm just being honest. I'm just saying what happened. I am not by any means... Are you listening to what I'm saying? Are you listening to my words? My coherent words? I hope you are, because I'm not endorsing, endowing, and encouraging. I am not. That is a negative statement. I am not by any means doing those things. I'm just saying what happened to me. Listen up, YouTube. You should listen to these content creators by what they're saying before you accuse them. And then bring them through all these hoops and hurdles, rough and tough situations, thick and thin situations, as to rewatch their content and then have to make a complaint, file a complaint to you, so that you will put their videos back up, their content, or even their channel, that you wrongfully talk down, hint hint. You wrongfully talk down T.SIZZLE'S channel because you accused him of something that he didn't do, or even if he did, is very trivial and very minuscule, very minute, very miniature, very small, very petite, very mini. Very, very small, smaller than the atoms, smaller than the dust particles floating in the air, smaller than those particles that you see floating in your eyes. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I hope you do, if you're that smart. Cough cough, hint hint. No offense, just saying what I'm trying to say. Alright? Yeah. So bring back T.SIZZLE'S channel, Justice. Come on. Like Justice League, DC. And by the way, I'm a Marvel fan, so yeah, shout out to the Marvel fans. I'm not a DC fan, maybe a little bit, but mostly Marvel, because there are some superheroes and super sheroes or heroines that I like from DC. Yeah. School sucks, alright? You always suck, in my opinion. For some people, they are lucky, that's why they like it. A lot of friends from a young age, and then top achievers, high achievers, and then successful and all that. Yeah, but everyone's brains work differently, Some people just don't like school, even when they're intelligent, They like to go to public libraries and learn knowledge from there, rather than go to school confined, locked up, and then studying all these boring, meaningless things and do homework. Otherwise they're gonna get punished, they are gonna get affected, they can't graduate and all, especially in college and universities where the CGPAs and the GPAs are affected. But they are just too smart for that, and not in a not in an entitled bratty way. No, they are legit very smart, and I'm talking like these usually these people are like the programmers, the business magnates, the inventors, the mathematicians, the scientists, right? Yeah, that's why some of these brilliant people dropped out. Why do you think so? Because they are way too intelligent. And I've heard it from somewhere. Someone said before, it's a gamer YouTuber. He said, overly intelligent people are scary, or some of the scariest beings on this planet, because they are just too capable. That is very true. Just like the scientists that created the human centipede, even though it's disgusting. But yeah, that's a very intelligent. Yeah, ironic, I know, but that's a very intelligent person. Right, they're experimenting and all because they are like too capable. Anything they set their minds to, just like lazy but ambitious people, which is me. I am lazy but I'm ambitious. Yeah, these are like intimidating, scary people. And again, I'm not trying to insinuate or instigate or start anything, initiate or incept anything. No inceptions to such things. Okay, I'm just saying, I'm still controlled, I'm still balanced. Okay, at least for now, hopefully till my last days and all right. That's the best course of action. That's the healthier option. That's the most pleasant option, right? Yeah, but I'm just saying I'm a lazy but ambitious person, and yeah, some of the scariest beings on this planet Earth, in this existence. And I'm just trying to relay what I learned. Again, I'm not trying to learn all these bad things from T.SIZZLE. Just because he bullied, he's trying to teach people to bully. No. He's just saying what happened in school. Okay, that's all he's done. He's just saying what happened in school. When he was still in school, he bullied because, he was like big, intimidating and all that, the typical stuff. But for me, even though I was like big, relatively tall, I guess, I still did not bully. Even though bullies are usually associated with those characteristics, but I did not. I got bullied, and then I became a bully, and that goes to show that bullies are insecure. Bullies want power. Yeah. And if you watch one of my videos, I did not really have a particularly good home life as well. That's why I come to school is that I'm at home, But as I got older, coming to school is also just as bad as at home. So both are also bad, It's just boring. It's just pretty much leading to nowhere, to no end, or just lacking substance. It's almost unsubstantial. It's almost non-profiting, It's almost non-beneficial. You're just doing it to do it, and it's just wasting time, wasting energy, wasting resources, wasting effort and all. You know what I'm saying? YouTube. It's just these things. I'm sure your staff and all that has gone through similar things when they were young, right? The human workers instead of your automated machines. Your human workers, right? Yeah, exactly. I'm sure they are listening. I'm sure they know what I'm talking about, right? From all walks of life. We all come from all walks, different walks of life. And then, we can relate with one another, or even if we cannot, we can at least try to, come to a consensus. That there's a basis. Just understand, there's the power of understanding. Just understand, no judgments, no judging people, judgmental, no critiquing and all that. Just understand. Okay? You've gone through this, I've gone through this, but hey, we are here. Let's make something meaningful. Let's make something cohesive. Let's make something structured, established, and healthy. And it's the way forward, advance. That's what we should do. Not like what you are doing, YouTube. If anything, you are doing what you are against people doing, You are doing exactly or similar to what you do not allow people to do. You are bullying people. You are kind of violating people's innocence and rights to create content by stripping their channels down, taking their videos down, and wrongfully accused. So you're being a hypocrite, if anything. And it's ironic. You're an ironic hypocrite, YouTube. So I would say my advice is learn from your lesson, alright? I'm being like Joey Swole, the guy that calls people out in the gym. Yeah, I'm the Joey Swole of you, YouTube. So justice for T.SIZZLE, bring back T.SIZZLE's channel. You should do better, YouTube, seriously. You need to do better and not bully people's rights. Violate people's rights and bully them is what I meant to say. And you give them strikes for no reason, warnings, and then take their channels down. And then they create another one, you do the same thing because it's the same one. Now, what are you doing, They just want to create content. That's it. Why is it that when they create multiple create channels, multiple creations also, and then just because it's like connected and linked, you want to take it down? Oh, I know this person, let's take it down because I took one of their previous channels down. I've done it before, but you see, you're just kicking them out. You're violating their rights, and they have done nothing, or maybe very trivial, minuscule, minute things towards you, towards your platform, and it's very small to even be considered serious, something serious that goes against your policy. You're just BSing, and you're being ridiculous, YouTube. Come on now, I know you're better than this. Just go back in time, the nostalgic days where how you used to be when you were still relatively young. And then there's the oldest video, that guy, I think he's also part of your creation. He's part of the creation of the YouTube company, that guy. When he was at the zoo, I think it's a Nepalese, I forgot his name. But yeah, he created one of the creators of YouTube, and he also recorded himself. And then he posted presumably the oldest video, but I also found some old videos, I found some old videos. I think I even found one that was like 19 years ago, and his is probably like 20, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe around the same range. Yeah, so recollect, YouTube, those good old days, right? Like PewDiePie, Vanos Gaming, Markiplier days, Jacksepticeye, then TDM, Fusions Gamer, the Red Bread, Yummy Mash, Daihi Dinogla, Terrorizer, Wildcat. Those are Vanos's friends, So many YouTubers, Mini Lad. You see, these are childhood times. These are things that raised us, that we grew up on, And then there's many more creators. So why do you want to violate them? Why do you want to take away their rights? And why do you want to bully them, YouTube? If you have done those things, please look into it, look deep within, and apologize, and put their channels back up, their contents and all that, as well as my guy T.SIZZLE. Justice for T.SIZZLE. Bring back T.SIZZLE's channel. That's all I gotta say. Beyoudoyou signing out now. Adios.